accidental yeeting.
This was an accidental yeeting. We have the footage. We can roll tape. This was an accidental yeeting.
Do we need to get Judge Lisa back in?
We might need Judge Lisa. Hey guys, it's Simply Amazing! Welcome back! We hope you guys are having a simply amazing day. We are so excited to see you at the diner on the corner. I can't remember any of the words that go that way, but
Okay, if any of y'all are lucky enough to live near a diner, please do me personally a huge favor. Please go eat some delicious food at that diner. I love diners, and there are so few where I live. Please eat at a good diner if you can.
I love a good diner. Diners are amazing. And great things happen in diners. Remember, Pulp Fiction happens in a diner, basically. So, most of it. Anyway, so I am Lisa, aka the OG Nocturne, and we are also joined by the fabulous, lovely...
What's up? It's your friendly neighborhood by Lauren, and I am very excited to talk about this one because we are going to talk about my boy Kurt and it's a pretty good show, but some people have different opinions. But I'm very excited to talk about because anytime I talk about any animated Kurts, I get excited.
Yes, we're going to talk about X-Men Evolution Kurt. It is probably my favorite animated Kurt. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
I mean, I would pretty much agree with that overall. I mean, I think it's kind of the best overall of everything. I don't think it is the best animated Kurt we could get. I think we can get a better one. I'm hoping we do in the future. But yeah, I'd agree out of everything we have.
Yeah, I think if Wolverine and the X-Men had gone on longer, that would have been better. I just feel like we just didn't get enough. Like, that was what we got of that was great. I really liked that Kurt. And I mean, he was with Wanda, so
that Kurt was about the best thing about that show. I have very not fun feelings about that show. Well, I'm confused as to why everybody loves that, but that's another topic. I'm about to cancel myself but in terms of Kurt, I did like that Kurt on there.
Yes, yeah. No, he was great in that.
I didn't like his design though. The actual animation design of how he looked. That bothered me, but in terms of his personality and such, that was chill.
Yeah, I thought they did a good... They definitely... I felt like the personality and what they created for him was closest to who he was in the comics and kind of what we loved about him in the comics. But Evolution just was a fun character. Like, he was a fun take on the character. And he... none of the Evolution characters are like they're not 100% like their comic book counterparts. Uh-huh. They're all like a kind of like a take on their counterparts. And I thought they did a great job with Kurt. He's very cute. He's very sweet. He's from Germany, like he's supposed to be, but he's got his adoptive parents because Mystique didn't purposefully throw him off the cliff. It was an accidental yeeting instead of intentional yeeting. So
#accidental yeeting. I'm about to make all the X-Men fans go mad when I say accidental yeeting.
This was an accidental yeeting. We have the footage. We can roll tape. This was an accidental yeeting.
Do we need to get Judge Lisa back in?
We might need Judge Lisa. There were wolves involved. Magneto was on the chase. She was trying to get her baby away from Magneto for some reason. See? Who then Magneto was then trusted to raise two other children, But that's beside the point. But he also did throw one of those children into an insane asylum. Let's not trust Magneto with children, period. Done. Or Mystique. You know what? None of them.
The only child you can trust Magneto with is Charles Xavier, aka Professor Gaslighter. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yes. Agreed. Thank you. So the accidental yeeting, it was very unfortunate, but it did introduce Kurt to his beautiful parents that he has in X-Men Evolution, which is a departure from the comics. In the comics, of course, he was raised in the circus with Margali Sardos and his sister Jermaine, aka Amanda, aka his girlfriend. Gross.
Don't start, Lisa. Move on.
We're moving on. But but they change a lot of that in X-Men Evolution in a lot of really good ways. I want to start this really quickly by I'm going to read a little bit from the series Bible. This is what they initially planned when they were planning for Kurt, right? So Kurt Wagner is a sophomore who'd like to be a swashbuckler like Errol Flynn or Tyrone Power or Luke Skywalker. I don't know who Tyrone Power is. Should I know who that is?
I mean, I don't, so maybe we both should know who that is.
I don't know. We'll do a Goog later. Instead, he's the kind of alien-looking freak boy. Excuse you? X-Men Evolution? Alien-looking freak boy?
Freak boy better be said in the nicest way possible, or else I got my baseball bat.
There's not even quotes around it. I can't even. Alien-looking freak boy. Anyway, but you know what? It is, to be fair, Dave Cockrum did originally design him as an alien, did originally pitch him as an alien to DC, so fair enough. Oh God, this gets worse. Who'd be rejected from the Star Wars Cantina because he's A, too damn freaky looking, and B, because he's underage. So A, I disagree. There were some freaky freaks in that cantina, and Kurt is way better looking than a lot of those guys. I mean, Max Rebo is a gross blue elephant thing. So,
every alien in that cantina is going to be drooling over him because they have never seen an alien as freaking pretty as him.
I'm going to say, you got two people in front of you. You got Nightcrawler and you got Greedo. Who are you inviting in? Greedo? If you said Greedo, you're a liar. You're a liar.
So what are we inviting them into? I'm kidding. Nightcrawler either way.
Yeah, you decide what you're inviting them into. Greedo is a guy who tried to shoot Han Solo. I mean, come on. Come on. All right, moving on. Again, no tea, no shade. All the love to everybody and everyone. This is all for fun, but this is hilarious. So
I still have my baseball bat while I'm laughing, cowards.
So for B, he's underage. That's fair. I mean, in Germany, it's a little different, but that's fair. He is underage in America. So he excels at at soccer and gymnastics. No shock there.
Soccer? Yes, exactly. Correct.
Of course, but he would call it football.
Yeah, as he should. That's the correct name. Us Americans are fools.
Yes. So when playing soccer at the mansion, he tends to cheat by passing the ball to BAMF himself. Ha ha. And the others. The others don't mind because they all cheat. I love that because this is very reminiscent of the old Claremont days of Mutant Ball when they'd all get together and play baseball and would start out as a no powers game and then end up with everybody just using their powers and screwing with everybody.
That was the general vibe. Yeah, they had an X-Men Evolution in general. You'd see them playing games and cheating all the time at the mansion outside while they were training or whatever. I really liked that. That was one of my favorite parts of the X-Men Evolution show is that you got to just see some of them just be kids. And even in the comics, I don't think we saw a lot of these kids just being fucking kids. So it was nice to see them be goofy and silly. And Kurt as a character, he really kind of helps spearhead that in general vibe on that show. I mean, other characters are goofy and silly too, but I feel without Kurt, because he's one of the main characters and he has those vibes so strongly, that the goofy, playful vibes would suffer on the show without him. And that version of him really brought that.
Totally. I mean, he's definitely brings a lot of levity. And I think this is one of the things that, endears a lot of us to Kurt is that he's this character who, by virtue, he really should be a character who is tormented or who has a lot of hatred or anger because he looks so different and because he has, had a life that has had to be so different than normal. But he doesn't. He loves everyone and he's got such an open heart. And it even says in this, it says, although Kurt has this demonic appearance, he's actually the sweetest, most vulnerable, most human of our cast. When people are around him are feeling down, Kurt is the quickest to pick up on it. And because of his appearance, he feels the most isolated from people in general.
Mhm.
how would he be judged if they saw the way he really looked? So this shows that kind of dichotomy of, he kind of works overtime to be really sympathetic and empathetic to other people, and to be their friend, and like get their approval and validation, because he knows that he desperately needs that as the way he looks with the with the image inducer, because he knows that's not the way he really looks. If they saw what he really looked like, it would be an even harder battle to get that from them.
I like all that stuff about him, and I feel like because of all those things, especially the empathy and stuff, he in X-Men Evolution, he really feels like, even though he is one of the younger characters and such, he really feels like one of the founding members to me. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
can't have the X-Men Evolution team without Kurt, whereas the X-Men have had plenty of teams without Kurt in the comics, and they started out without him, obviously. But like X-Men Evolution, in that universe, that Kurt's not there, do you have a team? Do you?
Oh, absolutely not. I would argue to say that the giant size X-Men team is the real true, like, iconic
Yes.
original
Oh,
team of X-Men.
no contest.
I mean, let's be real. Like the original five, I love the original five. I'm a Jean Grey fan. I love me some Jean Grey. Don't get me started on Beast, but I love me some Jean Grey. Um, but the fact of the matter is, the original five got the book canceled, and it was the giant size team that really the giant. It wasn't just the team, right? It was also the writer and the creative team as well. That got that book, yeah, that catapulted the X-Men to what they are today. So for me, it's I always think Nightcrawler is one of the original members of the team. I mean, he is. You know, he's one of the most iconic. He's for sure one of the most iconic members of the X-Men. Like, if you visually want an iconic team, like, Nightcrawler is going to be on it.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, and again, even though he's younger in the show, like it would have been nice to see him age up a little bit and like see him become like a teacher or something at the at the mansion and stuff, at the school. Like that would be so cool because he would be so good at that. Like imagine him teaching all these kids how to use their powers, and like he'd be in over his head because he'd probably need some help because he'd be way too nice.
Oh
And
yeah.
Logan would probably come in and be like, Elf, they're taking advantage of you, idiot. I love you, but you're stupid. And Kurt be like, what do you mean? They're kids.
Oh.
And then they all like deck him, and he's like, oh, that's what you mean. But
Yep.
like that'd be so cute to see. Um and I sometimes I wish X-Men Evolution could have been more character driven instead of plot driven at times,
Mhm.
because I feel like that incantation, the X-Men in the show, it really shined in terms of the characters. And when the characters were done well, it was like, oh my gosh, like Spike was the original character on that show, and when he had character focused episodes that were mostly on him, I love those things. And he's not even from the comics or anything.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, there were definitely certain moments that were allowed to really shine through, and Kurt had a couple of them. I do want to point out one last thing from the Bible, because we're going to talk about Amanda Girl. We got to get into it. So in the Bible, it says, Kurt, and just for those of you out there, I'm calling it the Bible. Television shows have a book called, they call it the show Bible, because basically anything that happens in the television show will then get recorded into it. So then for future continuity, they can go back to it and make sure that they aren't like, screwing things up. So like, for example, if they come, they decide, oh, we're going to mention in this episode that Kurt has a brother. Then they don't, then, 5 episodes down the way, they can't, they can go back and make sure they, don't mention that he has like 17 brothers or, whatever else. So anyway, so, they mention here in the Bible, of course, this changed. Kurt has a girlfriend, Shannon DeRico, who has no idea he is anything other than a normal high school sophomore. She'll eventually learn his secret and totally flip out on him. Not because she was tricked into loving a monster, which I do not like that word, but because he didn't trust her to see past his exterior. I think that's very cute. I like that. I also like that they brought in Amanda. I have a theory. So it's interesting when they chose to bring Amanda in, they chose very distinctively that they were going to make her a different race, number one, and like, you know, she's a girl at the school. And I thought like the making her a different race was them being like, "Oh, there is no way they're related, guys. Look at this. There is no way. Like they are totally not related. See that? Totally different people." And you know, and they made Margali like her mother, and you know, so she's like her own little family. So it's very different. They're not related. They didn't grow up together. There's absolutely no relation between them. But there's a moment, and I remember like when the show came out, that this moment did get caught on by a lot of people when like they get together for the first time, like in that first episode, and she's like, "Blue's my favorite color," and it's like, "Oh, that sounds fetishy." Okay.
Okay, I have to admit, the second you said that, I was like, the movie title "Blue is the warmest color" came in my head, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I remember there was actually a piece of fan art someone did of like Amanda sitting in a room of just everything was blue, just like hugging a blue Kurt doll, and it was just like, yeah, okay, girl, blue's your favorite color. All right, tell me more about how blue's your favorite color, girl. Okay, that's very, you know.
Girl, you know, we all got our kinks, and not to kink shame, but also, you know, I don't need to know more about that. You know, you do you, but like, I'm gonna leave the
Yeah,
room.
it was an interesting line. You know, I get it. It's a kid's show, and it was probably written in as a cute little line, supposed to be like, "Aw," but you know, we read past those things and make them weird. That's what we do here. So,
I mean, to be fair, yeah, I mean, little things like that, you know, yes, if you look in a weird context, it's kind of like, okay, that's creepy or gross or whatever. But like, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, if they tried to do the thing where they actually just made her genuinely love him like an actual brother, right? And like, you know, she just loves her brother much. It's crazy. Sibling love is really
well, they're not actually. Well, they're not siblings in evolution though. That's the difference. So,
well. Then that's just weird. Yeah, I'm with you now. Like that's
well, they're
weird.
dating. They're like dating. So you know, like it's I don't know. They're dating, and
Well, then I don't like it. Okay, now we're back to square one.
it's okay because they're not. I don't think they're dating by the end of end of the show because like Toad totally. Oh, there's a whole episode which is like it's just like the non-consent episode where like Toad breaks in to steal his image inducer and ruin the date, and then he
We gonna
uses
talk
the
about all these ships, folks. Let me tell you, if you
oh
want to come on and talk about Kurt and Toad, if you want to come on and talk all these ships, if you want to come on and talk Kurt and Kitty, I know apparently that's cursed in this fandom, which I actually did not know until recently that was a cursed ship. Makes sense to me, it's cursed. Didn't know that. If you want to talk about any of these ships, email us, hit us up on the DMs on Twitter or something. Let us know because we would love to have you on so
yeah,
you
we
can
want
tell
you
us
on.
all about these ships because we are not the experts in those ships. So we need some
I
fellow experts to come on.
I am the expert in Kurt Wanda. That is where I am the expert. Thank you, but not the rest of them. That's for sure.
I'm an
Um,
expert and Kurt needs love. That's about it.
that's it. That's it. That's it. Kurt Kitty actually is a pretty popular ship in Evolution, but that's only because they're like the same age,
It's
basically.
so good. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get on a soapbox that I will probably get a shot for, but when I watched X-Men Evolution when it came out, and you know, again, they are the right age in that show. You take out anything else you know about these characters. You just watch a student show. I liked them together a fucking lot in this show. I really did. And so then, you know, to go from, you know, like them so much on the show where it makes sense, it works, they are close enough in age, it's okay, it's great, and then have to read the comics where it's, you know, not okay. It's like, damn, like I can't win because I'm
No.
with you. Like in the comics, it's weird, but in that show, it's so great. Like,
Yeah, and then Kurt goes and dates Rachel in the comics, which is even worse in my opinion. So
right at that point, I'd rather him take. Not
yeah,
saying that's
that's
you know
worse.
great, but like,
I mean,
you know, let the lesbian be a lesbian. Let her be, please, God.
so
Let her go rail other women.
I want to mention one really good moment I feel like that Evolution does for Kurt that I don't know, it's just a moment that they do him well in is in the third season I believe is when they actually mutants become well known, and all of the X-Men are identified except for him, because he's always wearing his image inducer, and nobody knows who the blue guy is. It's basically like, we know who everyone is, and then there's the blue guy, anonymous.
Mhm.
So I remember it's like all of the other X-Men, specifically like Kitty, is like, and even Amanda is like, hey, you should like tell everybody. And he's like, you should relax and let me decide when I tell people, right? And I thought that was a very powerful episode. Um, when you talk about like the idea of like, coming out, a person coming out in their own, way, or just anything like that. It's so important that people have their own, their own control over their story. And in specifically speaking of his character, he's a character who he understands the danger of living his life authentically. Like, he understands what danger is inherent in living his life as he is. And everyone else is just like, all like, Scott's like, I have to wear sunglasses, man. It's like, yeah, okay, but like,
Bruh, anytime Scott Summers tries to be emo as hell, which is pretty much all the time, especially in older comics, it's like, you are a straight cisgender white man that has to wear sunglasses. Boo fucking who?
yeah,
Cry me a
exactly.
river, dude. Like, you also
Exactly.
have this really attractive hot woman, crying for your attention all the time, and you have the nerve to throw a fit that she wants your attention. Boy, cry me a goddamn river about all your problems.
And then you have a clone of that woman who is having your baby. Oh my! Don't even get. Oh my god. Okay, don't get me started, guys.
Just
started.
Yeah, but I mean, just the ungratefulness. So I'm with you on the whole, Kurt, and that's why I think Kurt's, we've talked about this a lot, and we always talk about it, but he's so identifiable and relatable because he knows exactly what it's like to have to, like you say, have to hide himself in every way. It's not just in a little way. It's not just subtly. He literally has to hide so much of himself. And honestly, I would have loved to see him have more of the storyline where, he for a longer time where he stops wearing the image inducer. I would, like to see that on that show because,
it's
he
interesting because
deserves it.
at the very end of that episode, he does out himself as a mutant because he does teleport while wearing the image inducer, like during a battle. So he outs himself as a mutant, and then Kitty like grabs his wrist and is like, "Why don't you show them the real you?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, how about not?" And it's just like, girl, like, read the room, girl. Like, how many times does he have to say no before you take the hint? Like,
okay, but to be fair, let's be real. Like in that show, like, Kitty totally had a thing for, like, the fact that he's blue and velvety, like, just like we all do. Like, she totally was like, but you look so great this way, and also...
No, do you know what I saw it as? I saw it as, like, and I say this as a white person, whatever. I saw it as, like, that white savior thing where it's like, show them the real you. They're gonna love you. And it's like, no, they're not. They're not gonna love me because I've already shown them me, and they didn't love me. And that's why I'm here, Kitty. I'm here because they didn't love me already. Right. All right, Kitty? Like, I've been there, done that, Kitty. There were torches. There were pitchforks. It was not fun. So, like, stop. Like, I've said no 3 times. You need to stop asking me. I'll do it when I'm ready. Right? So,
I think that's another great thing. I think you're absolutely right. And unfortunately, Kitty as a character is infamous for having lots of those moments being written or animated or said by her are moments like that where, she is that, white person that thinks she's helping and thinks this is the right thing to do and thinks this will solve all problems. And then whoever she's trying to do that to or encourage to do, whatever, has to be like you said, no, bitch, like, reality check. No, it's not all sunshine rainbows. No, this is not a Disney movie where you just go, ha, this is me. And everybody goes, yay, we love you. So yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah, Kitty does get indignant for people a lot. Look up Kitty and some words that nobody should say
because she's not bring that up. That's a rough time for everybody.
Yeah.
But yes, she has. Well, and also Claremont wrote them, so I mean,
it's a different time in a different context, and it's in a context of something very specific. Not,
Yes.
and this is
But
not.
people love taking it out
Yeah,
of context, and again, that's a whole other thing, and it's,
yeah,
valid. A lot of people that do it, I get it, but yeah, I mean, in general, I really I like that interpretation of Kurt, the X-Men Evolution one in particular, because he does get to be so playful and flirty. Because I think, especially after the '90s and stuff, he became so centered on his religion, which is still very important.
yes.
And I like that about him and his spirituality. But with that became for a period of time, to me, a level of seriousness. There was no fun. I was like, just because he is religious or spiritual doesn't mean he can't also be goofy and flirty and playful. There can be a balance of both, and X-Men Evolution was a great start at bringing back that playful side. And hopefully at some point, especially live action and animated, hopefully we get a Kurt that is balanced in both things, where he can be very religious and spiritual, but also he is flirty as shit, and he thinks with his dick, and it's chill. And
Can
hopefully at that point he'll be of age, not a teenager like an Evolution, but
I'm just gonna throw this out there for you guys. All right, just imagine this: you're in a movie theater one day, you're watching an X-Men movie, and I don't know who's playing Nightcrawler, but it's probably a Broadway actor. That I desperately think a Broadway actor needs to play Nightcrawler, because it's got to be someone who can dance, it's got to be someone who can move well with their body and can act. This guy as Nightcrawler comes out, and I don't know who I don't care what female character it is, could be Jean Grey, whatever, but he sees her and he just takes her hand and with a flourish bows and gives her a kiss on the hand. And it's like, that's my fucking Kurt right there. Thank you. Please, please give me that kind of Nightcrawler, that dramatic, exciting, fun, swashbuckling Nightcrawler. And now now we're on to a whole new topic.
I'm with it. I'm with it, though. I'm with it. We just X-Men Evolution Kurt, great, but now we got up it. We got to add more. We got to add more Kurt. We got to swash. We got lots of things to come, y'all, and I'm excited. I love my boy, and I know good things are coming. Stop taking so long, Disney. Get it together.
Yeah, get it together, Disney. I know 2023. You're making us wait. Come on. You can move faster.
I've been waiting a lot longer than that.
That's for sure. Well, anyway, hey, Lauren, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at friendlymBHDBI. You can find all my other links there. Come talk to me about Kurt stuff. And let me know who you ship on X-Men Evolution specifically with him. I am very interested to hear these thoughts. And Lisa, where can we find you, and where can we find all the good stuff about the pod? Because you made that website for us, right?
Oh my God, I did. I made a website. It took me forever. It was like, oh my God, I was sweating over the stove.
She was up at 4 a.m. calling me in her kitchen. I don't know why she was doing it in the kitchen over the freaking stove, but she was.
I had flour in my hair. I was like a mess. It was just crazy. I made a website. It's super cute. It is www.simplyamazingpod.com. You can come find all of our links there. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We got a blog now where I'm blogging. I'll, posting stuff all the time. Recently, we just did I did a post about, or did I do this post yet? I'm going to do a post pretty soon about how much Rachel wants to be inside Nocturne, or wants Nocturne to be inside her. So you're going to see that soon. So yeah, look out for that. It's very important. Come find us there. You can find me at the OG Nocturne. That's NACHTURNE. That's what she wrote. And thank you guys for sticking around. And remember, you are always simply amazing.